All right, shalom, shalom. I stumbled across this video on TikTok, and it's good that our people are waking up to who we really are. But we're so late in the game. We're so late in the game, and clearly we're in the last days that we're still arguing over this whole 12 tribes chart thing. All right, the 12 tribes chart is accurate, man. It's there's no flaws in it. If there's one flaw in it with one nation, then that throws everything off. And so I'm just gonna do commentary and back it up with scripture going on over this. All right, because she goes over I think it's Deuteronomy 28:64. Yeah, right. It's clear right there in front of us. Deuteronomy 28:64 and Isaiah 11:11 without the proper understanding. See, in order for you to understand the 12 tribes chart and to break it down, you have to understand the history of the diaspora or them being scattered and where they were scattered to and the times that they were scattered. So I'm just going to let this video play a little bit and I'm going to do some commentary in between.
It seems like you're kind of bothered, but don't be bothered. I'm just sharing information that I've studied and I believe it's really good for my people to know the truth about certain things. So you said you didn't dismantle nothing. 12 chart is accurate. Deuteronomy 28:64 is the transatlantic slave trade. And then I responded, there is 6 video. Click on the pinned video to see the rest. And then you said, and you call his name Yahweh.
And those videos that she's going into talking about Aria, I know a brother that knows Aria, that met Aria, or he's down here in the Dallas GMS camp. Okay. So like people just don't understand like how deep this really goes. The 12 tribes chart is accurate, man. These videos that are put up trying to debunk it, talking about Aria did this and Aria did that, and Alva Bibbins really confessed it. That's bullshit, man. I'm hearing it from someone who met Masha and Tahar at their own mouth, man. All right. But people want to be so deep and debunk everything. All we have to do is just really sit and listen and look at the men that are bringing out what the scriptures say, man. All right. Do the Latinos, Native Americans fit the bill? Yes, they do. If you do due diligence search in history. We'll get into that later, though.
Which is false. That is a moon god name, another name for Satan. His name is Ahiah, Ashur Ahiah, and his son.
Now, he's wrong. All right. Yahweh is not the name of the Lord. All right. But his damn show is not Ahiah, Ashur Ahiah. That's some shit that he's probably gotten from a Israelite group called GOCC. All right. Look, we've done breakdowns in ancient Paleo Hebrew. All right. And the name of the Lord, Yahweh is his name, is on the lost lunar stone written by Native Americans in ancient Paleo Hebrew. We've been debunked as Ashaya, whatever that shit is. But again, we need to, before we start making videos, we need to actually get learned and taught up in the correct and proper doctrine. I'm not taking shots at the young lady, or I'm not taking shots at DJ. You know what I'm saying? It is good. It is what it's gonna be, man. I'm just here to show correction with scripture and history.
And Yeshaya. Now, thank you very much for that information. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to get into the scripture that you gave me. So the scripture you gave me was Deuteronomy 28:64. So Deuteronomy 28:64 reads, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Now I'm going to read the commentary. The commentary reads,
and see, that's another thing. We have to stop getting all these commentaries because not all of them are accurate. When you read commentaries on Esau, it tells that Esau's been done away with. But Obadiah is end time prophecy. Okay, Ezekiel, the 25th chapter, I believe. I got my Bible real quick. Let me see real quick. Ezekiel, I don't want to misquote. Let me see here. Yeah, Ezekiel, the 25th chapter is end time prophecy. Isaiah, the 19th chapter is end time prophecy. So we have to be careful when we read these commentaries. We just can't jump in and go into commentaries and think that they are in truth, because they are very off on a lot of things, man. The spirit of the Lord has to be on you to go through the history and get an understanding of what it is. Because if we go by what the commentaries say, then that could mean that the Gentiles that they speak of in the New Testament are actually other heathen nations, and when we know that's not to be true, so we have to eliminate some of these commentaries because they are not true. All right.
Scattered thee among all people. According to Nehemiah 1:8 through 9, these words were fulfilled in the Babylonish captivity, but they have been far more amply fulfilled since the great dispersion of the Jews by the Romans. Now, for those who don't know, there was a siege in Jerusalem in 70 AD between the Judeans, the Negro Judeans, and Rome. And because of this destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, Negro Jews from the tribe of Judah scattered into Africa, South and West Africa, and some in parts of Algeria. Okay.
See, right here, it's telling you it went to North America, the Caribbean, and South America. That's how so what she's doing right now. And again, this is not a smite at the young lady or anything like that. It's beautiful that she's understanding that we are the Lord's chosen people. But what she's in reality doing is she's proving the chart to be true within itself. Because you see down here, the Caribbeans and South America, that's the Northern Kingdom. All right. We went into all those different captivities, not just in West Africa, but prior to that. And I'm going to get scripture to prove and show you that right there. Who's in South America? How it's mostly quote unquote Hispanics. All right, that's down in South America. And the Caribbeans, there's a lot of Hispanics down there as well. And we know who's in North America. Okay.
And this right here is where the transatlantic slave trade was, on the West African coast, the slave coast. And this reads, what people have been scattered so far and wide as they? And where is the nation that is a stranger to them, or to which they are strangers? They swarm in many parts of the East, are spread through most of the countries of Europe and Africa, and there are several families of them in the West Indies. They circulate through all parts and are, as one may say, brokers of the whole world. But remember, this is only speaking of the Jews, Deuteronomy 28:64.
And again, the Jews specifically are 3 tribes. That's Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and that's the Southern Kingdom. Jude is not a representation of all 12 tribes. Again, this is why we have to get edification and understanding on that. All right, because the other tribes had already been into captivity. There's only one time in history all 12 tribes have been together. Okay, and that was during the Egyptian captivity. Outside of that, they weren't the Northern and Southern Kingdom wasn't in the Babylonian captivity. Jeremiah was telling the Northern Kingdom that they were getting ready to go into captivity. And that's what happened. Shalmaneser, and I'm going to get that in the Apocrypha, Shalmaneser came and took them into captivity. All right. Because prior to them going into captivity, the kingdom had split. That's in the books of Kings. So we have to know history and get an understanding of that. All right. So Jews does not mean all 12 tribes.
And remember, Isaiah 11 through 12, verse 11 is talking about the dispersion of the Israelites, the regathering of the Israelites from the...
That's right. The Israelites. Now, Israel is the whole house. And so I'm going to let her read that and then watch the mistake that she makes.
And of Assyria and Africa. And 12 is talking about the dispersion of Judah to the 4 corners of the earth. Now you can pause to read.
So we're gonna pause to read that. Hold on. Go back.
Of the Israelites from the land of Assyria and Africa, and 12 is talking about the dispersion of Judah to the 4 corners of the earth. Now you can.
So that's Judah to the 4 corners of the earth, which consists of you Negroes. Okay, this is why you see niggas out in England, niggas out in Scotland, Germany, Hawaii, because that's where the transatlantic slave trade, the triangular slave trade through the and that's in Amos. And that's in the book of Joel as well. All right.
Pause to read.
So I'm going to pause it, back out of it, and let's get, this is Revelations actually, because we're going to prove that. Let's get this right here. So this is Isaiah 11:11, the verse that she pulled up. I mean, you have to read it and into context of what it says. And this is end time prophecy. All right. Isaiah 11:11, and it shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord, that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. But the key part right there is being the remnant, not the whole tribe. Not the whole tribe, because when you read the scriptures that we were scattered into the four corners of the earth, so you have bits and pieces of Israelites or Jews, Judea, in all these different places. Which why it's important to understand that not all Israelites are going to be people of dark pigmentation. You're going to have Israelites looking like other nations, which is why the northern kingdom, or what you call Spanish or Mexicans, look different, because they went into a different captivity. I mean, you're talking about 1,000 years of breeding and looking like other nations. Do you think that we still have our same features as we did back in 1,000 years ago? No, that's insane to think that. Yes, we were dark pigmented people, but for us to think that would be insane. And there's many scriptures to prove and back that up. And so we're going to get that word remnant, because I got it right here. Let's see, remnant. What does it mean? It says a small remaining quantity of something. And that's just simply what it is. So the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is saying that he will recover a small remnant, not the whole house, all right, of these different tribes, because we were scattered abroad. And I have it in the remnant in the blue letter as well, because you have to go into the Greek and the Hebrew on some words to get an exact meaning of what it means. So it says rest, residue, remnant, remainder. That's all that it is. Remainder, left over from. Because why? The whole tribe didn't go into captivity. There were different tribes left over of small remnants. So we don't need that Isaiah anymore. Let's get back to the video to see what else she was saying.
And then you can go ahead and link the 10 tribes in verse 11 that were scattered to the lands all in Africa, including the Mediterranean Sea.
All right, that's where we'll stop it right there, because that's false. So we'll go here into Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, and we'll start at the Salakia. Second Esdras, the 13th chapter, and we will start at the 40th verse, because that's where it's going into the northern kingdom. All right, right here it says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land. What was their own land? Their own land was Samaria. All right, the northern kingdom was in Samaria. These are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king, who Salmanasar, king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. Okay. And so came they into another land, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth unto a further country where never mankind dwelt. Where was that at? That was North America, and we're going to prove that was North America, and the North, not just North America, but the islands, the Indies, of that picture that she showed her earlier. No, mankind never dwelt there. Okay, that they might keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High showed them signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. And he showed them signs in the suns and the stars and in the moon, which is why the people have the Mayan calendar, because that's what Aztec means. Aztec means people of time. It's a Hebrew word. For though that the country there was a greater way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same reason is called Arsrith. And I pulled up that word Arsrith. This is nothing new, man. This is really entry level information. It keeps on giving me that. So we're going to look up the word Arsrith, and I have it right here in the Jewish Encyclopedia. And you can find other sources that approve this as well. This is why ancient Hebrew ancient Hebrew writings were found in the North Americas, and there's many letters showing you that the Native Americans, the Indians, were speaking Hebrew. Hell, the slaves that came over here in America were speaking ancient Paleo Hebrew. So it says, let me blow it up. It says the name of a land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, far away from the habitation of man, which is just said a place where mankind never dwelt, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to Second Esdras. As actually something else. IV 45. Columbus identified America with this land. Christopher Columbus translated by DRC. And so when you do information on Luis de Torres, he was a what? Hebrew interpreter. Why? Because Columbus now knew that they were over there. And you can find out more history going into the Intercaterra, the Romus Pontus, and the Doctrine of Discovery. The papal bulls from Pope Alexander the Sixth and Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand made decrees for them to worship and treat these islanders like savages and force Christianity upon them. And that goes into the wood and stone and the worship. So that them worshiping wood and stone and other idols was not just solely in Babylon. All right. They worshipped idol. We worship idols in every captivity that we were in, which is why we were called Gentiles. What did Paul say? Ye know you were Gentiles carried away by these dumb idols. Okay, this is easy work, man. All right. Hopefully this video was edifying, man. Shalom.